Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to my end of the year money series. Throughout this month and also going into December, we're going to be talking about all of the money routines, all of our money routines. We're going to be talking about our annual money routine, our monthly money routine, our bi-weekly, bi-monthly, paycheck to paycheck routine, our weekly money routine, and our daily money routine. So I'm basically just going to be sharing all of the things that we do to prepare for the year, prepare for the month, the week, so on and so forth. My hope is that this information in this series will be useful to everyone out there, whether you work a full-time job like us, whether you have a side business like us, whether you have side hustles, whether you are a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time business owner, whatever the case is, my hope is that you will be able to find some value in these videos and in this series. But before we hop into this very detailed video, I do want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, North One. Thank you, North One, for sponsoring this portion of today's video. North One is better banking for small business owners, and serving small business owners is actually all that they do. North One allows you to manage your money from anywhere. So whether you're at home or whether you're on the go, everything you need to manage your business finances is going to be right at your fingertips. And the best part is that you'll never have to step foot in a bank branch ever again. I actually haven't been in a bank branch since we paid off our car like 4 years ago, because there is no need. So because the North One's features are designed for small business owners, you'll have access to features such as mobile check deposit, cash withdrawals, and even the ability to send and receive ACH payments and wire payments. North One is an FDIC insured account that can save you time and money. It actually integrates with the accounting software that you already use, which is going to save you so much time when it comes to bookkeeping. And with the North One's envelope feature, you can automatically budget and save for things such as rent, payroll, taxes, and more. With the North One, you'll never have to pay for overdraft fees or NSF fees, which can save you hundreds of dollars per month. And if you're wondering what the card looks like, she's super cute. This is what the card looks like. North One is offering my viewers $10 when you open and fund a new account using the special link in my description. Sign up today at apply.northone.com/Shay. It only takes 3 minutes of your time, if that. So let's start out by talking about the average pay schedules here in the US of A, which is all that I can speak to because this is where I have lived my whole life. So typically we are paid on a monthly basis, meaning that we get paid once per month, on a bi-weekly basis, meaning that we get paid every 2 weeks, which shakes out to be 26 paychecks because there are 52 weeks in a year. And in this case, one is typically paid 3 times per month for 2 months out of the 12 months. Other pay schedules include bi-monthly, which means that one would get paid twice per month. So normally that's like on the 15th of the month, so like halfway through the month and then at the end of the month. Also, folks are getting paid on a weekly basis, so every Friday, or even a daily basis. I would say that a lot of entrepreneurs are getting paid on a daily basis. I know for me as a full-time worker and my husband as a full-time worker, and then us as side hustlers or business owners, we are paid bi-weekly, me, bi-monthly, my husband, and then whenever paydays roll in, as with our side hustles, I would say like hairdressers and hairstylists and nail techs and folks like that, a lot of different folks are getting paid on a daily basis. Now, no matter what your pay schedule is, I think it's easiest to just conform, although I'm not a huge fan of conforming, but when it comes to pay schedules, I feel like the vast majority of people are paid twice per month. Of course, if you're paid bi-weekly like me, you might get that extra paycheck twice per year. But for the most part, I feel like the majority of us are getting a paycheck twice per month, majority of the time. So in that case, again, I'm not a huge fan of conforming, but in that case, I think it makes sense to, no matter what your pay schedule is, slice your month right down the middle, right in half. Why do I think this is important? For a number of reasons. I think this is important because it will allow you the time, the space, the opportunity to more effectively manage your money on a better schedule. So let's say you do get paid once per month. Well, sure, it would make sense to just get your paycheck, pay all of your bills, and then just spend the rest of the money throughout the month. Of course, you could still have a monthly plan for this because we did already talk about a monthly routine, but I just think that it makes the most sense to manage your money on at least a bi-monthly basis. I don't think creating a monthly budget and just kind of like spending your money however it happens to be spent is wise. I also don't think it's super important to be monitoring our money on a daily basis, and to kind of break up the two extremes so you know what I'm talking about a little bit more than what I am sharing right now. Just picture this example. Let's say you have a $400 grocery budget. Well, it's probably going to make sense that you don't just spend all of your money in one sitting, or to just kind of spend your money however. It's going to make the most sense to really stay within those parameters, to really stay on budget, to budget $100 per week or even $200 every 2 weeks. It's just going to make the most sense that way, to kind of break it down into a smaller, more tangible goal, especially when it comes to money. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's say that you get paid daily. Well, I'm certainly not going to recommend that, whenever you get paid, you figure out you have enough to pay a bill, so you pay a bill, and so you're just kind of like every day making money, paying a bill, whatever bill you can pay. I certainly don't recommend that. I would also still recommend splitting your money and your month right down the middle and managing your money in that capacity. So make your money for the week or for 2 weeks and then pay your bills. I would say that it would make the most sense to, let's say, that the money that you earn from November the 1st through the 14th goes towards the bills and the expenses that you have from the 15th until the 30th or the end of the month. Just trying to get ahead, because it's just going to make life so much more simpler. As a reiteration, my first tip or recommendation is to split the month in half, no matter what your pay scale is, and try to structure your money, your bills and expenses in that way. I'm going to share an example of this, obviously, so this will all come together, but that is my first tip. My second tip is to find you a monthly calendar from somewhere, whether it's something that you've created in a bullet journal, whether it's something that you've printed from offline, like a free printable, whether it's the monthly spread in your planner, whether it's the app on your phone. Find you a monthly calendar and input your bills and your expenses, and not only that, but also any events or activities or anything like that that would warrant you spending money. This is just going to help you craft your bi-monthly budget so much better. And again, I know I'm talking a lot about all of that, but we're going to dive into that, and I'm going to share with you a perfect example of what it is that I'm talking about. I just think that I'm a visual learner, and so I assume everyone else is too. I know we're talking a lot about monthly this and monthly that, but this is not our monthly routine. I already did the video on that. This is actually our paycheck routine. And I talked a lot in the previous video about the monthly calendar and all of that. Well, I didn't talk a lot about it, but I brought it up, and I thought that it would make the most sense to really harp on it in today's video, which is what I am about to do. So come along with me. We're going to take a dive into our monthly calendar, and I'm going to share with you how and why I split our month right in half, and I manage our money, our paydays, our expenses, bills, and all of that on a bi-monthly basis. Okay, so currently we're in our Google Calendar, which is a shared family calendar. And so I turned off all of the other calendars just to make for a clearer view. And so I'm just going to kind of share with you what our month at a glance looks like. So the first thing that we do is we put all of our bills and expenses in here. And if you click on any of them, then you'll actually get the amount. I just put it in the location because why not? As long as you just throw it in there, you can also kind of put it in the description. So it'll show like under here somewhere. So you can always do that too, but I just kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. So I have all of our bills and expenses in here. They're all the same. And of course you can make yours green or something, but I prefer mine to be pink. And they all look exactly the same, just so that when I look at it at a quick glance, I'll know that our regular bills are these ones with the dollar signs and the brackets. And then everything else might be like a one-time or annual or quarterly bill or something like that. Still a bill nonetheless, but sometimes not something that I need to worry about on a monthly basis. In addition to all of our bills, I also like to put in here any events and such which might require us to spend money, such as our anniversary dinner here. We had some birthdays, so we gave some birthday gifts. We went to some birthday shenanigans. We had car service appointment, so on and so forth. So we have bills, expenses, or some of our expenses. We also have our events, especially activities that might require us to spend money. And then we also have our paydays. So I have it in here as, you know, just like a recurring appointment that takes place every 2 weeks on Thursday. So I have all of, or my 2 paydays for November in here. And then I also have my husband's paydays. He is paid on the 15th and then the last day of the month, or, you know, that kind of falls differently sometimes, but I have all of that in here, and it's really, really helpful for us, and it really helps us to kind of curate our month. But most importantly, it really helps us to really kind of take control when it comes to managing our paychecks and making sure that the right amount of money is being allocated for all these different bills and expenses. So this is just a quick month at a glance. It's nothing major. Like I said, you can do it in a planner. You can take a screenshot of this or print off this page and put it on the refrigerator or put it with your purse in your wallet or whatever the case is. I just think that it's helpful just for you to reference as you're creating your monthly budget, but also most importantly, as you are creating your paycheck routine in your paycheck budget. So that is what we are going to switch to now. And I just want to share with you how I have created our paycheck budgets, our 2 paycheck budgets, because again, we just split the month down the middle. So I'm just going to share with you that for the month of November. Let's get into the fun stuff and let's talk about a paycheck to paycheck budget and a routine and what that means. So just to clarify, just because you're creating a paycheck to paycheck routine or a paycheck to paycheck budget, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're living paycheck to paycheck or that you are, trying to implement a system to where you're not running out of money before your next paycheck. It's just a method for managing your money, a method for being proactive. Again, if the vast majority of us are paid at least twice per month, the majority of the months, it then just makes sense to me to budget on a paycheck to paycheck basis. And so that is what we do. That is what we have done for a very long time, and I have no intentions of stopping. It just screams proactive money management to me, and I'm here for it. So let's talk about what that means. This is our November budget. I have pulled it over into this little spreadsheet screenshot situation just because I think it'll make sense as we walk through this. And again, the purpose of this is to share what we do and using our real numbers, because therefore I don't have to recreate some fake mock budget, just using our real numbers. But don't too much take our situation and what we have going on into consideration. Just pull from it what you need and kind of look at the method from a bare bones type of perspective. So this is our November budget. If you watched our November budget with me video or the video that came before this one in this series, then you know that our monthly income was $9,000. We do a zero-based budget or an every dollar budget. No, this also does not mean that we are taking our account to zero or we're running the risk of our account going to zero. It's just a means or a method of proactivity and making sure that we're telling every single last one of our dollars what they need to do for us throughout the month instead of vice versa or the other way around. So in fact, we actually have a buffer in our account. It's not a super, super large buffer, but it's enough to where if any of our bills came out, then, our account wouldn't be affected by it negatively. Like if a bill was paid twice or something like that, our account wouldn't go into the negative or anything because there's a decent amount of money in there. We're not like a full month ahead or anything like that, but it's a decent amount of money. So back to our November budget, we budgeted $9,000, and I want to kind of talk to you about how to create a paycheck to paycheck budget. So like I always say, like I've been harping on all video long, go ahead and slice your month right in half. So let's talk about that. As you can see, we have a budget from the 1st through the 14th, and then another from the 15th through the 30th. Why is that? This is because I'm paid bi-weekly, I know that I will always receive a paycheck between the 1st and the 14th. It's only right. It only makes logical sense. My husband, though, even though he's paid semi-monthly, he always receives a paycheck between the 1st and the 14th as well. Technically, he's supposed to be paid on the 15th, but it always keeps falling to where he's getting paid before that. So for this exact budget, he was paid on the 14th and not the 15th. In December, I haven't really looked at it. Maybe the paycheck to paycheck budget will be between, like the 1st and the 15th and the 16th and the 31st or whatever. But for November, this is how it shook out. So for the 15th through the 30th, same thing. My husband's going to get a paycheck between that time. I'm going to get a paycheck between that time. Now let's talk about our business and our side hustles. What we have going on there is that we have all of our money going into our business account. And then after we've set aside money for expenses and taxes, everything else is rightfully ours. And so we just take money from the account, not just as we wish. We're really strategic about it, but we try to take money from the account and pay ourselves a salary that will kind of match up more closely to our monthly budget. So without paying us that salary, we likely wouldn't be able to put so much towards sinking funds or put so much towards savings or anything at all. But because we have that money, it's, money that we've rightfully earned, actual money from our side hustles, we then get to take that money and do some cool things with it. So I just want to clarify that of the whole 9,000 or the 4,500, all of it does not come from our full-time jobs. But of the 4,500, it's the salary from my full-time job, the salary from my husband's full-time job, and the salary from side hustles. And then again, for the second half of the month. I want to kind of stress that little tidbit because I feel like it will be really helpful for the side hustlers and the small business owners out there. Okay, now that we've talked about the income and how we split it down the middle, let's talk about the bills and the expenses. So first of all, probably the most important bill that we have, which is probably going to be the same for you, is our mortgage. It is due by the 15th of the month. So we normally would pay it before the 15th. That is until this year when we hit the ground running with investing and we started investing even more money. And we started trying to invest so much that it would have we would be able to enter into an early retirement if we choose to. So we landed on a $2,000 minimum. That's how much we said we wanted to do minimum each month. Now, we didn't really have a say-so in when our mortgage is due, and you probably don't either, or your rent, but we do have a say-so in when we pay our investing. And so we opted for the first of the month because that gave us 2 weeks between our investing and when our mortgage is due. Those are the largest bills that we have. And so there's going to come a time for sure, and I want to be prepared for it, where we're not paying ourselves as much as we are from the business, or our income isn't as high because it does fluctuate from month to month. So we have to have a system in place where we can kind of weather the storm or weather the month without any discretionary income to kind of lean on, if that makes any sense. That's why I like for our budget to be as perfectly curated as it is. So we have our investing at the first of the month, our mortgage around the middle of the month. I encourage that to all people everywhere. I do not encourage the beginning of your month being top heavy with bills and expenses, and then the rest of the bills and expenses are to be paid, or the rest of the money is to be spent kind of sporadically throughout the month. I recommend just kind of making it perfectly even. I don't know, it might be the fact that I like symmetry, but to me it makes sense. So I have $3,500 coming out of our account for investing in mortgage at the first of the month, whenever we can kind of divvy that up and do mortgage on the 15th and investing on the 1st. Makes sense to me. Okay, so we have that going on. And this is actually a running total. The green is a running total. So these are all of our bills that are due between the 1st and the 14th. The last one is the 11th, which is pest control, which left us with $1,684. So I had to decide, kind of how I wanted to split that up. Well, if you come to shopping, then you'll see that for shopping, we have a budget of $1,500. Shopping is for everything. Miscellaneous, food for us, dates, groceries, eating out, food for the dog, literally our the personal money that we have each month. Shopping is for everything, basically, outside of our bills. And so because the main budget is $1,500, I thought that it would make sense to just split up the $750 and $750. Therefore, as we're going through the weeks, and as we're going through the month, as I'm tracking our expenses, which all of that will come in the next 2 videos, as I'm tracking expenses, I can be mindful of that. We can be mindful of it that, okay, we started out at $1,500. We're now down to $850. It's the 10th of the month. That means we have, we have at that point, not that much more money to go, only $100 more to go before we're at $750, which means that at that point, we probably should kind of really be mindful of our spending, because the fact of the matter is we want that $1,500 to last the entire month, and we have to kind of stay on top of it and be aware of how much we are spending, or really how much we have left, which is essentially the same thing, so that we can know, that we're going to stay on track. We don't want to be going over the $1,500 shopping budget. It's already enough if you ask me, but unfortunately, the Honeycrisp apples and the strawberries and the blueberries and blackberries and bananas and all of that I buy each week costs a lot of money. Our shopping budget is just naturally a little bit more expensive, or maybe higher than what it maybe was when we weren't buying so many when we couldn't afford to purchase so much fresh fruit and vegetables and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, all of that to say, it just helps us to kind of better stay on track. So we know, where we're at throughout the month and how much we have left and how much we've spent, just trying to make sure that we stay on budget. Now, after that, we had 9/34, so I got to make the decision about what I wanted to do. Because the only thing left at that point was the sinking funds and the savings, I got to decide if I was going to put the 9/34 towards savings or towards sinking funds. I opted for sinking funds. And so that is how we got this $4,500 paycheck budget. Now, for this one, these are all of our bills and expenses that are due. I also want to reiterate that for purposes of this video, I combined all of our subscriptions. So the game, Amazon Music, and Sling TV. And then I combined the Banfield, which is our dog's wellness plan, and then our life insurances, which happen to be due on the same day anyway, just so it would all fit on the same screen and be within the same screenshot. So just FYI, in case you're wondering why the game is over here, but it's not over here. I just combined them for purposes of this video. So after paying all of these bills, that was going to bring us to $2,741 left over. So $750 for shopping. The rest of the sinking funds, because 9/34 and 8/36 equal $1,770, and then our savings amount. I do want to say that for our sinking funds that we just started, for sinking funds in general, there's not a guarantee that anybody's going to spend that money each and every month. We have been spending it now because we started them during the spendiest time of the year. But going forward in 2022, sinking funds we might not touch any of our sinking funds. So it's really like a savings account if you look at it. That's why, if you look at it that way, that's why I kind of, not say I don't prioritize it, but mainly I prioritize our actual bills first and foremost, and then our shopping, which includes our food and gas and stuff like that, because we need all that stuff to survive. And then what's left, is the sinking funds and the savings. And that's why I do our budget in that order. So for over here, again, we had the sinking funds, which left us with $1,155, and that's the amount that we were planning to save. Now, before I even, shared our November budget or kind of put the stamp of approval on it, I already went ahead and I created the paycheck routines or the paycheck budgets just so I could see, how the month was going to shake out. And this is what we decided on. This is what felt good for us. So that is our paycheck routine. I recommend just having your monthly calendar and referencing it. And then also creating your paycheck budget. I also want to say that if you remember, we had some birthdays or birthday parties for which we took birthday gifts around the first half of November. So that's why I decided to reserve money for the sinking funds, because I wanted to be able to put money into our giving and donating category so that I could be able to pull from that money to purchase birthday gifts if I wanted to. So that's just a small, minor example of why I think it's worth putting your activities and events and all of those things that might require you spending money that aren't just regular expenses and aren't bills in your monthly calendar, so that you can have that, reference that, and it will kind of help you dictate how you move throughout the month, how you create your monthly budget, and also, of course, how you create your paycheck routine or your paycheck budgets. So that is it for our paycheck routine. That's literally all that I do. It really just helps as a guide. It serves as a guide, and I can just adjust the numbers as the month goes on. Or of course, in our main app, I can kind of be referencing it and this budget to make sure that we are staying on track. I hope that was helpful. I know that was a whole lot, but I just really wanted to, at minimum, break it down. I feel like I can do a video literally every day, all day, about money and routines and how we manage money. But at the core, my hope in this video was that I could share with you how we come up with our monthly income, being that we have the side business, side hustles situation, but also how we kind of split up our month and being able to navigate our month without having to worry about where our money is going or if we're staying on budget or all of that, because we are proactive in our approach. So that's it for this paycheck routine. Let's go ahead and close out this video. Okay, you guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope that this information was useful. Any links or anything like that will be down in the description box. Make sure that you return next week because we are going to be diving further, deeper, and more intensely into some of our other routines. So again, that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.